Hey everybody, Davey here from Davey's World Fishing. Today we're going to take a look at the 4-piece Guide Select Swimbait travel rods. These things are fantastic, both freshwater and saltwater. Stay tuned. Now, Okuma has been long known for their travel rods. They've got several varieties and series of travel rods, and they've had quite a few for the last 10 to 15 years. The Guide Select Swimbait rods happen to be the most recent, but they've had the Nomad rods, the Voyager rods, which are still in existence, the SST family of travel rods, everything from very light trout to salmon. Then you get into your boat rods, so your heavy vertical jigging, bait rods, all that kind of fun stuff. But today I'm going to talk about the Guide Select Swimbait rods. The Guide Select Swimbait rods are all based on the regular Guide Select Swimbait family of rods. These particular ones in the travel, they're all 4-piece, and they happen to be 7'11", either a heavy or an extra heavy. The heavy is going to be rated 1 to 6 ounces, and the extra heavy is going to be 2 to 10 ounces. So you can throw big baits. That's what they're designed to do. But what I do mostly with these things is I travel the country with them, or actually the world. I've had this particular one down in Panama with me, but I'll use it for live bait. I'll use it for throwing jigs, even throwing iron here in Southern California with that extra heavy model. I'm going to crack this guy open. We're going to take a look at it, all the different specs. I'm actually going to put a reel on it. We're going to bend it so you can see what the actual rod bend looks in these things as well. But the first thing I wanted you to take a look at is the travel case that it comes in. It's a hard, very rigid case, and all the pieces are in there nicely. You can actually fit 2 rods inside this case, which is nice too. So if you wanted to do a heavy and an extra heavy, combine them both into one and it fits nicely into your luggage. As you can see, it's not overly long. 4 pieces, fits perfect. Let's take a look at it. All right, let's crack this guy open. Nice rigid zipper with a nice rope pull string there. And then pulling that particular rod open, as you can see, it's got a nice padded end to it, so you're not smashing any tips. And then it's a nice wrapped PVC tube in there with a nice carry handle as well. So if you do want to carry it, attach it to your backpack, however you want to do it, or just throw it in your luggage, you're ready to go. Now, as far as the actual rod goes, as I mentioned, they're all 4-piece rods. And that's it there. They've got the long European spigot ferrule design. So you're going to see a little bit of the blank when you put it together. You don't want to smash it together, but let's take a look at that now. That's that bottom section there. So you can see it's got a split grip design with an EVA, nice contoured grip. You've got the Fuji skeletonized reel seat. You can actually see the blank down below. So when your finger's sitting in there, you can actually feel that blank. So it really helps to feel the bites. You've got a nice aluminum locking reel seat, so you can really get that reel seat down tight. And it's got a nice oversized hook keeper down here. Some of the other rods that are out in the market, they have a real small one, hard to get something in there, but if you're throwing a big jig, big swim bait with big treble hooks, it's really easy to get that hook in there nicely. Second section, moving on up here, we're gonna go ahead and slide that guy right onto that blank there. And as I mentioned, it's that European spigot ferrule, so you're gonna have a little bit of that blank sticking out right in between. You don't want to jam it together. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. Then moving up that blank there, you can see that it's got a forward-facing guide system. These are the K concept guides, so they actually are a forward-facing. They're supposed to lean like that. You don't want to try to bend them back. What happens there is if that line comes off, it's going to prevent a lot of line wrap or anything else that you might happen to get on that guide. Moving up to that next section here, so this is section number 3, getting towards the tip. Again, European spigot ferrule, so you're going to see some of that ferrule that's actually sticking out right in that blank there. Supposed to be like that, don't be afraid. And then that tip section, right up in the top there. The difference in the top there, it's a tip into butt section there. You still have some of that ferrule sticking out there, and it's supposed to look like that, so don't be afraid, as I mentioned. Now this particular rod's got 10 total guides, as well as that tip section there. Each of the guides, alkanite inserts, so you can fish braid, fluorocarbon, or monofilament, whatever you like, and you're not going to get any digging into those guides. Now, as I mentioned, this particular one is the 7'11" heavy. So that rod there is the 7'11". It's a heavy action rod, medium fast action to it, and it's rated 15 to 30 and 1 to 6 ounces on your lure. So like I said, you can fish these things for live bait, you can fish jigs, you can fish them vertically if you like. We fish these a lot when we're down in Florida. Easy to get into the suitcase, and you can actually work those vertical jigs like a slow pitch jig or whatever you want to. That 7'11", if you happen to be casting, it's going to help you to definitely get a little bit more casting distance as well. These are also great if you happen to be a kayak fisherman, if you want to break them down and jam them right inside your kayak. Easy to break down, you can get them inside. If you do flip, you don't have to worry about losing anything. And that 7'11" length is great because you can actually work around the bow of your kayak. A lot of people like to use a short rod on the kayak, but what happens there is if I get a big fish and it buries me down, I want to be able to reach around the bow of that kayak and get it out there. With that 7'11" rod, you can definitely get that done. All right, now the next thing I want to do here is I want to get this reel mounted up, and then we're going to line it, and then I'm going to put a little bend in this thing so you can actually see what it's going to look like with a full load. You can see how that line lines up throughout those guides. But what I've got here is I've got a Komodo 350. This is the Komodo SS, perfect for saltwater fishing. You may have seen some of my videos on that. The SS being stainless steel. It's got a stainless steel main gear, pinion gear, drive shaft, and spool shaft. But getting that reel on there nice and tight, and as I said, you can see the through blank design. So when your hand is on that, you actually got a finger right down on that blank. So if you're finessing or if you're feeling something down there, maybe you're working along the bottom, anything that's like ticking and coming up your braided line, it's actually going to run down that blank, and you can feel that right into your reel and into your hand there. A little bit better feedback, you're going to be able to set that hook and get that fish to the boat quicker, and especially set the hook. That's going to be the key there as well. Let me get this thing strung up, and then we're going to take a look at the bend. Now, as I'm stringing up these last couple of guides here, a couple things to mention on these rods. They've got a 1-year warranty. That's a 1-year warranty against any manufacturer's defects. That's if you're fishing it and a guide pops off in some sort of fishing application. That does not cover slamming it into a door, when you're spooling it up inside the house and it gets wrapped up in the ceiling fan. Doesn't cover any of that kind of stuff, but Okuma does have a very progressive and aggressive warranty plan where they actually have a no questions asked warranty policy as well. So for, I think it's $60, you can actually get set up on that. Write them in, they won't ask what happened to the rod. You pay that $60 and they're going to completely replace your rod, but it's an extra bonus. I think it's 60 bucks, might be 80 bucks. But go over to okumafishingusa.com and you can check out that warranty policy as well. I've got this thing all spooled up and through the guides here. I'm going to tie it to something and then we're going to take a look at the bend. All right, so I've got this rod now spooled up. I've got it tied to a chair that happens to be sitting right, it might be in the camera. But what I want to do is I just want to show you the bend on this rod. So if you load this thing up, you can actually see that they call it a moderate fast, medium fast action. So the brake is going to start way down in here and then get towards that top of the tip there. It's not a real fast action where it's got a ton of backbone and then cuts off, but it's almost got a little bit more moderate than a full fast action rod, but still has plenty of backbone, as you can see there. And as you can see, none of that line is actually touching that blank, and that's a nice full bend. I'm actually putting some heavy pressure on that, and I got a really heavy chair down there sitting there as well. But that line, as it's coming up that blank, is not touching any of that blank. It's actually going guide to guide perfectly. You can see those European spigot ferrules there. They still don't have any connection there, but they're holding it tight, and it gives it a true one-piece feel to this rod. Very awesome rods. Anyhow, that there is the Guide Select Swimbait travel rods. As I mentioned, they're all 4-piece rods, and the really cool part about this is they only retail for $159.99. You can either get them directly from Okuma at okumafishingusa.com or Tackle Warehouse or any of your other favorite online retailers, or even in most stores as well too. Really cool rods. They come with that hard case, which is awesome. As I mentioned, you can fit 2 full rods in there if you wanted to, maybe even more if you're using some of the Voyager lightweight stuff as well. Great rods, great backbone, perfect for what you want to do. Either you're throwing big swim baits down in Tennessee, you're heading out into the saltwater, maybe you're fishing some snook, redfish, even some tarpon down in Florida, or out here in Southern California if you're going to go chase some calicos or spotted bay bass or whatever you want to do. Very cool. Check them out. Guide Select Swimbait rods, 4-piece travel. Check them out over at okumafishingusa.com. And I do appreciate y'all checking in. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below and subscribe to Davey's World Fishing in the right-hand corner. See you on the water. Well, case looks like, ready.